All right, boom. So we are recording now. All right, so I got here Colin Yurcisin. We just got finished 3 months working together, and basically just going to ask you some questions of like your experience of this whole process,
Hell yeah.
right?
Yeah, man. I mean, I went to you when I was at a time where I was just, you know how I was. I was super involved with my work. My number one focus was making money. And I'm a spiritual guy too, and I have a morning routine, and like I stress that so much on my followers and on my people. But
You
like
did.
when I came to you and I sat down and I said, hey, like these are my goals. And like on day one, when I said, I want to sign up 1,000 clients, everything was kind of business oriented. And you realized that right away in me. And you took a complete opposite direction of like, yo, chill. Let's figure out, what actually truly makes you happy. What is your inner child? What did you used to like as a kid? Why are you not doing that shit anymore? And you kind of reverse engineered me throughout the 3 months. And like we can talk about, I'm sure you'll ask them the questions, all the things that happen as an outcome. But truly, like realizing that before I went out and traveled again, it really set a new intention inside of me, and it was like almost like a new frontier, like a new, like, okay, I'm operating on these values, and as a kid who likes to do this shit first instead of like money, business, clients. And literally, dude, over the last 3 months, one, I started a brand new company revolving around spirituality and health and wellness, and a retreat company.
Yeah.
That was, never thought about that before in my life. And I think maybe if I didn't, find you first, and you started, at least sprouting that seed inside of me, I probably would have blew right past that, that breath work session. I probably wouldn't even have been thinking of like, oh my God, let me go to this breath work tent and do breath work at this hotel I'm staying at. So we'll get into that. But yeah, man, I mean, you just really, you definitely took some things that I had deep inside of me, and you put them right in front of my face and said, hey, you need to operate on these values first, not money and not clients.
Yeah, because when I first met you, I mean, we connected because we both had quartz crystals, and
Yeah.
I moved into a place that Colin was living in and owned, and the first thing I saw was just that this person was extremely successful. Colin was very successful at a young age, and could see like you've garnered this success, but you know it's you can have fun and you can be in ease and peace of mind at the same time that you're like creating this success. And I saw that you were very just go and doing and a little less of being, right? And that was one of the first things we talked about was like, let's get you back to being, right? So like we went on that hike and we just like meditated and just gave you some space to be instead of like, oh, I need to get more sales and more business and 10 mil a month. Like it was just whoa, like that can happen. It doesn't need to happen right now, right? So when I talk a little bit about that of like really kind of where you were um
Yeah. I'll
even
go
before
meeting
meeting me.
for sure. So when I met you, I mean, you moved into so just to give you a little backstory, I bought a property in Philadelphia, and I met Oliver through another friend, James, who's also our roommate. So, obviously them moving in, they're both entrepreneurs. Oliver owns his business. James is a YouTuber. So like we automatically clicked. At this time, my girlfriend, Noemi, was in Spain because she was getting her driver's license. And that meant that, I had no one really to hang out with besides myself and my work. So it was just, whenever Noemi's gone, my girlfriend, I would just, oh, all I have to do now is work. Awesome. So I was just, balls to the wall every day, 12 hours a day in my room, just working nonstop. And like, I use that as an excuse because she wasn't there. And Oliver kind of took me back in the beginning of the program, And it was awesome because like I knew he was moving in. I knew he did this work that he does. So I was like, all right, I gotta give this a try. Like, and I'm already, in this go, go, go state. So, he's into meditation, he's into all this, stuff where he's slowing down my time. So I gave that a try. And instantly when I did see Noemi, the first thing that she said, and me and you talk about this all the time, is how present I was. And
Yeah.
like I just from like practicing with Oliver and being still and going on hikes and like meditating a couple times a day and him just calming me down and just letting me disconnect. I did a 24-hour like phone detox too on that Sunday. So then I saw Noemi. We met up in like Punta Cana, or no, Cap Cana, and she was like, "I've never seen you like disconnect from your phone for 48 hours. Like, what's going on? Like, you are so just having so much fun, like acting like a kid." And that honestly has stuck with me ever since that time. Even now, living with her, in Miami, we're both working hard. But when the day's done of me working, my 4 or 5 hours, like my laptop's closed and I'm enjoying, I'm laughing, I'm playing, I'm having fun. We're going on walks, hikes, whatever. And, I'm just totally in the moment again, once again, like how I was before when I was younger, just having fun. And that's the most important thing, in life, really, just have fun.
Yeah, exactly. And that was like, I could really see how it was just business and a lot less fun. And that's like one of the biggest things for me when like meeting someone who's a high achiever, who's an entrepreneur, is when they're so business oriented that it's almost like not even fun anymore, right? And
Yeah.
life is about enjoying it, right? What's the point of building a successful business if you're not enjoying your life? And I'm interested to know, like, how has that affected and impacted your relationship with Noemi?
Yeah. So, I mean, I was always like there's times where I'd be so connected into my work and my laptop, and she'd say a full sentence and ask me a question at the end, and I wouldn't even look up, or I'd look up and I'd be like, yeah, sure. And she asked me, like, hey, where do you want to go to dinner tonight? And like I would say something so off topic and like, that was just bad. And it happened all the time. And with my mom, I'd be on the phone while working too. And I just wouldn't even, she'd be talking and be going in through one ear, out through the other. I had no idea what was happening.
Mm.
Just once again, just so into what I was trying to do that I forgot about the world around me, which was the actual present. So like, me and Noemi's relationship it's never been bad, I'll tell you that, but I'm just way more connected to her now. And not just her, everyone. I mean, really, like when someone calls me on the phone now, like I really put down my phone, and if it's on, if I'm on the AirPods, but yeah, and I just listen, man. Like, just really be in the moment, and stop taking every second for granted in your business. If you do have a successful business, that's what I've learned.
Yeah, and that's really a big thing, especially in relationships. Especially if you're the guy in the relationship too, is like your presence is so important to, your woman as well. Like that's like what they notice first, and what they notice starts to dip is like you're not as present as you used to be, and like that's instantly when like issues will start to happen. So that's like a huge thing of like I feel more connected with my partner, right? So just in terms of relationships, like that's huge. And so what? Because this was like a unique experience where like I met Colin in person, and we started doing some work in person. We started like working out together, meditating together, doing hikes together, doing some of the work together in person. Now, usually, what I through this process it's digital. So what happened was Colin traveled, and through that we had some digital interaction as well. So how would you say your experience was throughout the process? Like some of the calls we did, some of the deeper dives too, like maybe
Yeah,
if people aren't familiar with like that type of work, like how was
sure.
that experience?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I think if you're lucky enough to be able to work with Oliver in person and do like one-on-one session or actually do his coaching program, have that in-person connection is awesome because like you really do get to have that personal touch and dive deeper and have that in-person connection. But you do a really good job at, diving deep online through a Zoom call, like as long as you can get in a quiet room and not have distractions, because there were times, where I had other people in the room, like I wasn't as connected. So the next time we'd have a call, Albert would be like, get in a quiet room, make sure we can actually spend an hour and a half together with no distractions. And every time we did that, it almost had the same in-person feel. Like you were able to, calm my mind down, get me in a state of receiving, of, really feeling connected. Like, and you do a great job of making me feel my energetic, that my energy pulsing through my body. And then from there, really just, finding out what was bothering me through the camera, which is pretty crazy. Like, ask me enough questions to get to the point where we pinpoint the problem and then dissecting that problem. I don't know what you call that process, but that's what we've done quite a bit. And that has been something that, I've now taken into my breathwork coach. And now we've dug up those exact same issues that you have brought to the surface. We just dive deeper on them. So just really, like, I would say the online has been, not much of a change from an in-person, besides like you teaching me how to do a workout in front of me, which obviously you can't really do that online. But yeah, man, I mean, I've loved both. I love the in-person, I love the food you make, and I love the workouts we were doing with the bands. And then also, yeah, I love the online stuff. Every single time after my call, I would feel super at peace and super connected to myself. And then I able to, carry on my day at a much better place than I was before the call. And the call only took, an hour of my day in the morning. And then I get to operate the rest of the day, out of state of gratitude and whatever we found for that moment. So yeah, really great.
Yeah, and I think that's super important to talk about because, there's this notion when you see people who are successful that maybe they have it all figured out. And so I'd like to know, like, how important is healing and the process of healing and doing that deep work for someone who is successful, right? Because you were successful. Like, if someone looked at you and was like, what would be wrong with Colin? Like,
Yeah, no one knows.
he's a millionaire, like at like 24. Like what would be wrong, right? So I think it's super important to maybe get your take of why that's so important for maybe someone watching this who is also maybe garnered some success,
Yep.
but are still dealing with some issues, right? Conscious or
100%.
unconscious, right?
Yeah. So guys, I mean, the one thing I can say is a journey never ends. It never ends. Like you could be already like, a master 9 yoga meditator. Like it goes to level 1 million. It doesn't end. So like for me, I felt like I was at a place where I got comfortable where I was at. Usually you get comfortable in business. That's bad because then you don't progress anymore. You're not making more money. You're not achieving new things because you're comfy. I got comfy in, okay, I've been doing this morning routine for so long. It works. I do my meditations. I'm good. I don't need anything else. So I was at a place where I was like, I thought I mastered it. And then I got to this place where I was like, okay, I feel like I'm not growing anymore spiritually. I need to invest now. I need to find a new, path to go down. So when I found Oliver, I made the investment. And that one investment in you, I'll talk about now kind of what happened in my next journey. So obviously I invest in Oliver. We worked together for a month in person, and then I travel nonstop. So it was time for me to go travel again. I head to Tulum, and I'm at a meditative state. Like that's when I was really talking to you every day. Like I went on my own little retreat out there. Remember, I had my one friend that I was going to stay with. They were partying too much. I was like, yo, I need out of this. So I went to Nomade, which is like my sacred temple hotel. And I got there. Oliver's like, yeah, just take all this time to yourself, really just play and do your thing and just disconnect and connect to yourself. And that's what I did. And through that, I went, I was walking to go get an acai bowl, one night. And on my way out of the hotel, I passed this tent called the Gratitude Tent where they do breathwork, sound healing sessions. So I was like, oh, this is right up my alley. Like I gotta check this out. So I walk in there and and there was this girl named Anya, and she was facilitating the entire journey. So I've never done a breathwork session in my life yet. I've just done Wim Hof with Oliver and stuff. So this is holotropic 20-minute breath, deep breathing. So I go in there, I have this life-changing experience. I've never felt more energy and light and peace come through me. And I, got rid of so many limiting beliefs. And I went up to her right after and I said, hey, like, can I take you to dinner? Can we talk about this? this is incredible. That one dinner led to me creating a retreat company called Empowered Retreats with this woman who's been practicing meditation, yoga, and breath work for 20 years. She's like 40 something years old. So she's been doing this for a long time. And I was the missing link that she needed to bring up entrepreneurs and business owners that are high level, that can pay a high ticket for a big retreat. And we just had our first retreat about a month ago, and it was a major success. And like literally, I would have walked right past that tent if I didn't have Oliver's guidance in the beginning telling me, dude, focus on what makes you happy, focus on being still, being present, and just be yourself and enjoy and learn new things. And that's when I was like, it was so aligned with what I've just been told by him that I was like, fuck it, I got to do this. So that one little split decision that I made created a whole new company, helped me change 13 people's lives. And now we're having our second retreat next quarter. So like, it's just the little things like that. And once you take the next step in your journey spiritually and you do evolve and you do invest, this is the shit that happens. One thing leads to the next, whether it be with Oliver, you have an incredible transformation, or just because you're in the right mindset and you're going down the right path because of Oliver, you're going to start attracting things into your life around what you're learning and what you're seeing and what you're practicing every day.
Yeah, 100%. And when I heard that happen, I was like, just like, F yeah. Cause like the fact of the matter was, Colin, he surrendered to the process. There's a lot of like control when you're an entrepreneur of like trying to control everything. And the thing he did was he was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to invest. I'm going to surrender to this process. And that opened up his energy, right? And because you opened up that energy, you were able to receive. And because you were able to receive, you attracted someone like Anya, you attracted the Empowered Retreats. Like you brought all of that into your sphere because you were like, okay, you know what? Like I'm gonna let go of this whole kind of notion that like this isn't a thing, right? And because you open that up, like so much transformation happened. And that's why it was so awesome to see of like if we never did that, that never would have happened because that energy would have been closed off.
For real. Yeah. And now I'm always a giver. Like I'm a creator. I love to create. I love the story. I love to, share whatever I'm passionate about. So now all of this is spilling out of me into one, Empowered Retreats, two, all of my stories. Everything that I've been doing in my output has been more, from the heart, from my real true values. And that's what, you helped me discover again. And really, Oliver does a great job at having you write out, you do all these different like workshops. So you like write down, what your company missions and values are, what your personal missions and values are, and you align the two together, and then you operate every day on those things. So if I didn't, make that a priority, like you said, I probably could have walked right by that tent.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things too is like we really got clear of, and that was the one of the first things I was like I noticed was like, hey, like what's like your vision, mission, and values of your company, and like what's your vision, like what are your values, right? And like what is like your perfect day, like what are you doing all of this for, right? And not for me, not taking your first answer and accepting that. It was like dig deeper. Why? What's behind that? Like why? And just keep asking so that like your real answer came out. And I was like, oh, okay. Like you said this, but actually, really, this is what you're doing all of this for, right? And that was super important because right, a lot of this was like unconscious at first,
Yeah.
right? It was kind of just being on autopilot, doing everything and not realizing like, oh wait, like I can be so much happier, so much present, so much more connected. And then through that, I mean, the goals we wrote down the first time we talked, completely different than like your goals now. Like it was actually kind of funny. Like the first one was like, as you said, like 1,000 clients, you know, 10 million a month, like, 100K on YouTube, like just like crazy like business goals. And then like literally after like a month or two, he was like, yeah, it's like I'm not even really worried about the money. Like I'm just about giving and just like trying to create these, really trying to
Straight
connect.
up,
And like
literally.
it was really funny because it happened like
But
right
it's not like
away.
the money has still gotten better
Yeah, that's what I mean.
because
Because
I'm
you've
disconnected from it. And it's just, I just created a whole new business that's very profitable that I never even would have thought of. And the money's great there too. And it's something that I love and it's something around what you taught. So it's like, it never put the money first.
yeah, and that's what that was like one of the first things I saw. And um, in terms of, I think one of the first things I told you was like, right, you mentioned it was like, what did you used to do as a kid? Like, what did you love doing as a kid that maybe like your parents like told you couldn't do, or you grew
Yeah.
up and like, you stopped doing that. So tell them like, what,
Yeah.
when I
So
asked you that, what was the first thing you did?
I used to love skateboarding and tech decking when I was like, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. And since then, my parents, they didn't support that. They wanted me to do sports nonstop. So they made me stop that stuff. They didn't support it. They didn't buy me new skateboards or new tech decks. So I just kind of had to shove that out of my life and like just ignore it. And the first thing Oliver said was like, yo, buy that tech deck again. Like buy that skateboard. So the first thing I did was I ordered a tech deck and I literally got to play like a kid again, tech decking, and it was like so liberating and so much fun, and like literally just brought back all the memories of how I felt, how happy I was as a kid doing that activity. And like, no one can tell me no now. Like I don't give a shit. I can tech deck, I can paint, I can do whatever the hell I want because it's my life. So Oliver like brought that back into me, saying, dude, there's no rules around it. Like you can do whatever you want, have fun, like go to the skate park, tech deck, like whatever you want to do, you can do.
Yeah, and that was like, that was one of the things that really brought me so much joy, because it brought you so much joy
Yeah.
of almost instantly like you bought that tech deck and you were so excited about it, and it was like
Yeah.
that simple. Like you don't have there's no reason for you not to do those things that used to bring you joy as a kid. Like you can do them now even with a successful business, right? um, and so, for the people who are watching this, what would you say to someone who's kind of on the fence, or someone who's just, you know, successful, but maybe wanting to get to that next level and not really knowing 100% the process?
Yeah, guys, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter if you're a multimillionaire, if you got 4 grand saved up. Like it's everything amazing in life happens on the opposite side of fear. So like, or on when you step in the fear, I mean.
Yeah.
So, yes, investment in your health, your personal life, like if it's not really directly correlated to business, you're like, how can I justify that expense? Because it's not directly, gonna improve my back end, my profits. What you don't know is that it actually directly affects your profits more than any business investment that you could even make. Investing in your personal life, like in your personal health, whether that be a fitness coach, a trainer, going on a retreat, investing in someone like Oliver who does kind of a multitude of all the things. That is actually going to be the best investment you can make. You invest in yourself first, then your business. So you hire the employees, you do the workshops, you go to networking events after you've invested in your personal life. I made a post about that the other day because like that's so true. Like every single time that I hire a chef, I focus on my health. I do more meditation. I do stuff with Oliver. I do stuff with my meditation coach. That stuff brings me so much more than it would if I, did a business seminar every time. So all the things, like I said, my retreat company only happened because I focused on spirituality and I dug deep inside myself and I took out these new values and I operated on those values. That is how I saw the light in that girl. And that's how that whole thing started. So if you're scared, just know from my personal experience and from everyone who does this stuff, it's going to bring back way more than you can imagine in returns. Maybe it's not going to be a number that you can see in the next like month. Mine took me 5 months to get to the point where I started a retreat company and had my first successful retreat. But it's all over time. Something great that's going to happen isn't going to happen overnight. It's going to take time, and you're going to have to build it from the ground up. So start with yourself first, then focus on your business.
100%. And, an old adage is that your business won't fill up your cup, but when you fill up your cup, it will overfill into your business, right?
You are your business nowadays too. Like if you have a brand and you're operating on bad values, you're lying, you're not being truthful, your business is going to suck. So like you are the business, so you better be a good person.
100%. And that's why, your business is just a reflection of your own energy. So as you improve your energy and your level of consciousness and it rises, that energy instantly directs itself into the things that you're creating, which is your business. And it obviously makes it grow, right?
Exactly. 100%. Couldn't agree more.
Well, dude, it's been honestly an honor to, you know, work together and continue to do the things that we're doing and just seeing the level of growth of your level of consciousness, right? Being in a level of fear to a level of willingness and acceptance, and just that rise is very eminent of your energy and your state of being, which is the most important thing that impacts everything in your life. And if anyone is interested in understanding this process and you want to at least just have a conversation, right? Which is the first thing we do. We have a conversation to see if I can even help.
Yeah, let me
Right?
go over that real quick.
Yeah.
So I was a little unsure of everything in the beginning. I didn't really know Oliver. He's living in my house. I'm like, how's this gonna work? He's my roommate. Like, so Oliver, sat me down and we first literally did a session. He did a free session where he like tapped into me and did a lot of work with me for an hour straight. Then he came back with an entire template of everything he would like to go over with me, what he wants to focus on. And then he presented, the price of the package at the end. It made me feel very comfortable. He didn't make me feel like, he was intruding into my life. He gave first, which is very important. He gives, then he tells you how he can help you. So if you're just saying, hey, this is my price, join my thing, you don't really want to do that. It's not appealing. Oliver does the work first without any money, and he finds out how he can help you, tells you exactly how he's going to over the period of time, and says, this is where we're going to be at the end. So, like, it's really a no brainer because if you work towards those things that he pinpoints in the beginning, at the end, I guarantee that they're going to be a lot better than when you first started.
100%. And the whole process for me is like, I didn't know if I could even help Colin at first. So my goal wasn't to try to pitch him. My goal was to understand him and see if I can even be of value to him in his life. And if I couldn't, then it wouldn't matter to me. I still gave him value. But if I could, then that's when open the door. Here's an opportunity. Do you want to take it? If not, cool. If you do, let's fucking go, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the process, guys. Like, I'm not gonna pitch anyone. Like, I'm not a salesman. I'm a coach,
Yeah.
right? And so that's really the process of like understanding you, seeing if I can help. If I can't, all good. If I can, I will give you value. And that's the whole process. And you know any kind of ending words for people who are listening?
Yeah, guys, I could not recommend Oliver anymore. Such an amazing person. Like, really, what your goal is, Oliver, to raise the collective consciousness of everyone in the world. That's really like should be everyone's mission in life, and that's like your full dedicated mission. So, I think just from you helping me, you shining this light into me is helping so many more people than you could even imagine. So yeah, guys, I could not recommend Oliver more. Highly, highly, highly recommend it. If you need anything, if you want to ask me questions about it, feel free to reach out, DM me on Instagram, shoot me a text, whatever. I'm free. I'm happy to talk about my experience because it was awesome.
Thank you. And his at is just
At Colin Yurcisin.
yeah,
At
at
my
Colin Yurcisin. And if you guys want to reach out to me, depending on where you're seeing this video, you can either DM me or schedule a call wherever this
YouTube,
video is.
Instagram, everywhere.
Yeah, wherever it's at, and it's just at Oliver Phelan. So, hope you guys enjoyed that. And again, it's been a complete pleasure. work together.
Me too, bro. Thank you.